First of all, I just want to start out with why the heck are you going to be using Instagram stories? Like, a lot of people don't understand why Instagram stories is so beneficial and how it can impact your business. So I just want to start out with saying Instagram stories is kind of my jam, as you guys know. I love me some Instagram stories. And one of the big reasons why I like Instagram stories so much is because it impacts the whole entire algorithm. So with this algorithm switch, I know a few months, or I mean, probably a year ago, I can't even think to exactly when that new algorithm for Instagram came in, but it screwed a lot of business owners over, right? And I know you were probably one of those that went, crap, no one's liking my post anymore. Like, your engagement dropped by 50% plus. And, the same thing happened to me, this exact same thing. It sucks, but there is something we can do about it. And obviously, I don't want anyone kind of sitting in a hole of self-pity going, oh, the algorithm changed. What can I do? You got to work harder. That's what you got to do. And by working harder, Instagram stories is a way to work harder through all of this. So, Haley Burkhead, do you use a service for your lives? Your picture's always so steady. Kristen, that's a fantastic question. I use OBS for my graphics on my lives, and the picture's always so steady. For that, I do have a webcam, a Logitech webcam. I love it. Got it off Amazon. So I hope that answered your question. Back to why using Instagram stories. So the algorithm switch. So you probably saw that all of your posts were not getting as much engagement. So the way Instagram stories is going to play a role in this lack of engagement that you're getting because of that algorithm, Instagram stories, obviously Instagram wants to push Instagram stories. It's very similar to the way Facebook Live was pushing Facebook Live, or Facebook was pushing Facebook Live because Facebook wanted you to use that new feature. And so whenever you went on Facebook Live, your Facebook Live would show organically more than a post or a video you did. And so since Facebook was pushing Facebook Live, it was a pretty smart business decision to get on Facebook Live. It still is because it's kind of newish still. But anyway, so Facebook was pushing that. Same exact thing with Instagram. So Instagram's pushing Instagram stories right now because it's a kind of new feature. I mean, it's been maybe 6 months, maybe higher. Okay, so it's less than a year old though. It's still less than a year old. It's pretty new. And so Instagram's trying to push it. So if you are using Instagram stories, Instagram's rewarding you. I would think of it as a brownie point system. So basically we're trying to get on the good side of Instagram. We're trying to kind of elbow up to them, right? And to do that, if you use the feature that they're trying to push anyways, you're ahead of the game. They're obviously going to put your post in front of someone else's because you're using the new feature. You're keeping your audience on that platform longer with Instagram stories. It's just racking up the brownie points. So that's how we're going to use Instagram stories to get higher in the Instagram algorithm and to be seen more. Now, another big question that I get asked a lot is, what the crap am I even going to post on Instagram stories? And yeah, I understand it's a little intimidating. And I would say, first of all, go look at what other people are posting. That will definitely give you some inspiration and figure it out for yourself, like within your niche, because every niche, is different. But I do have a couple of pointers that I want to give you just to kind of give you some ideas. Number one is ask questions. So ask your audience questions. For example, I just went through a big rebrand. So I was picking out the color scheme for my new brand, and I gave them 3 different options or 3 different colors or something. No, I put a color palette, and I said, okay, which color do you like the best? And I got tons of comments, and they got to have an input on the colors, and most everyone said yellow, and I did not like that yellow, but everyone said yellow and I went with the yellow, and now that is my favorite color in my whole color scheme. I absolutely love the specific yellow that I'm using. So but definitely get feedback from your audience, ask them questions, get them involved. Another one is show behind the scenes. So obviously I have a podcast, I have Facebook Lives, I have Instagram Lives. I'm constantly doing things on my computer. So what I'll do is I'll do Instagram stories of behind the scenes of Market Beautifully, where I don't post any behind the scenes anywhere except on my Instagram stories. So it's very exclusive. So if I'm editing a podcast, like a video for my YouTube channel, for the MBTV YouTube channel, Then I'll put a behind the scenes of me editing that interview that I just had on Skype with Taylor Manning, Jessica Stansberry, whoever I was interviewing at that time. That's what I do. Let's see, number 3, creative boomerangs. So it could be as simple as, like, for instance, like I have a smoothie every morning. So sometimes I'll do a creative boomerang of me like holding the cup up to the camera and then it kind of moving. There's movement to it. And then I'll just say, good morning, or something along those lines. Like, it doesn't have to be anything big. It could just be super small, but a boomerang is movement. I don't know, I hope that gave you a little bit of inspiration. But also you can do custom graphics for Instagram stories. So you could easily do this in Canva. I use Illustrator. And hey, Allie, what's up, girl? So by creating Instagram graphics, it makes you look more branded and professional. And so that may be something that you can try out. Offering flash sales, like if you have a product shop or an Etsy store, or even if it's as a service, or if price increase. For example, Liz White from Lene May, she's posting on her Instagram stories right now at the time of this recording. Guys, my prices are going up. My strategy calls are increasing in price. They're doubling. I think they're doubling in price right now. So please go grab them before my price increases. So she's letting everyone on her Instagram stories know that. Or you could say, hey, everything right now is 30% off my whole website, my whole entire Etsy store, or my whole entire website, 30% off. Here's a coupon code for any of you specifically that are watching this Instagram story. And you could do Instagram story exclusive deals. That way you could, like, maybe a deal a week and they never know when you're going to post a deal. I see an online boutique do this and she does really, really well with it. Also, make sure that the majority of your stories relate back to them. That's something that I want to include on, like, the inspiration of how you're doing your Instagram stories is, okay, like, why are you posting this Instagram story? Is there a purpose? Make sure there's a purpose. Please don't post stories just to post stories as a business owner. Now, if it's personal, completely no big deal if it's your personal account. But if it's your business account, make sure there's a reason. I just have to put that out there. And then also, this is a hard thing to balance, but show what's going on in your life, but not too much. You know what I'm saying? Because people are nosy. People kind of want to know what you're doing, but they don't care that much at the same time. So they only care, like, about the exciting things. Like, don't post your whole day-to-day, like, what are you doing every single hour? I would say that's a little too much. As a business owner, I would say that maybe it could, I don't know, I don't want to give you exact metrics on, okay, 50% this, 50% that, because it really just depends on your business. But for example, okay, if you're a wedding planner, then I would have on your Instagram stories you meeting with a client or you boomeranging the coffee in front of you as Starbucks that you're going to as a meeting, and that's personal, but it's also business. Anyways, I hope that helped. But also, if you're sitting on the couch with your dog, you can do an Instagram story of that and then say, hey, any other fur moms out there? Or what's your favorite dog toy that you have for your dog? Or something that relates it back to them. So, hey, Natalie, Amanda, Brooke, Shelly, oh my gosh, Presto Golf, what's up? How are you guys doing? The Lynn Clark? Woohoo! Guys, this is awesome. Okay, so now that I have done the prerequisite questions that I'm always getting asked about Instagram stories, let's get into the Instagram story secrets that increase engagement. So the first one that I want to mention is add text to your video. Now, this may sound a little bit counterintuitive, so let me explain. Whenever you're posting, I've done a lot of research about Instagram stories. I have spent 3 months looking at my analytics, looking at what people are responding to, what people are actually just swiping. They don't want to look at it or anything like that. I've really looked at these stats and figured out specifically for my audience. Now, keep in mind, all of these Instagram story secrets that I'm letting you in on are specifically from my audience that I've seen. But you can definitely apply any of these principles to your Instagram stories and then test it out for yourself. But the big one that I saw that I was really surprised at was adding text to your video. So for instance, like I had a video that was talking about, hey, my podcast, you can now listen to it on your Amazon Echo. You can ask, hey, Alexa. I was making sure my Alexa wasn't here, otherwise she'll pull it up for you while I'm on live. But hey Alexa, can you play the Market Beautifully podcast? And she'll play it for you. So I was explaining that on Instagram stories. Well, I had one video where I had the text that said, you can now tell Alexa to play the podcast or something along those lines. And I didn't just add the text. I had a full background color that wasn't opaque, full background color with my branded colors that had that phrase on it with the video, okay? Now then I had, like maybe a week later, I did the exact same thing, but with just a video, no text. I just said, hey, you can now tell Alexa to play the Market Beautifully podcast, da-da-da-da. You know, I did a quick video about that. More people listened to the actual video whenever I had text. Now, that was just one example. I've done this for many videos, and it's come true every single time. If I add a text with a background color, with a color background behind it, more people will actually listen to the full video than if I didn't have that text with the background color. They would swipe past it because they didn't want to take the time to know what the video was about. So that is some really awesome information that you may not have known. I was definitely surprised because you would think that by telling them what the video is about or by putting any type of text on the video, they'd go, oh, that's what it's about, swipe, because they already got the highlight or whatever. But that's not true. That's not the case for my audience. So I thought that was really interesting and I wanted to share it with you. The second secret is ask questions and then actually follow up. This is something that I want to make sure. Do not just ask questions on your Instagram story and then never DM them back. Okay, this actually really irritates me, so I'm not even gonna expand on that specifically because it irritates me whenever people ask questions and then they don't even respond back to the people that are answering them on their DM. Or, I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're too good to reply to them. I just really don't like those Instagram accounts. So please do not be one of those Instagram accounts, no matter how many followers you have. Reply, engage. I cannot stress this enough. So, let me make sure I'm on the right one. Okay, so yes, so asking questions. You can ask questions, for example, like with the branding thing that I said, but also you can ask questions that are related to them. So if you're a wedding, I keep going back to wedding planner, I'm not sure why, but if you're a wedding planner, what is the most favorite resource, or what's your favorite venue, or hey, are you planning a wedding? Is there anything that you're kind of struggling with? What's overwhelming you right now? And then they can talk to you about it. Or I'm trying to think of different questions. Do you guys ask any questions on your Instagram stories? Because I would love to know what kind of questions that you're asking inside your Instagram stories specifically, because this really is a great way to engage with your audience, is just to ask questions. Brooke said whether people like black and white or color better. Okay, I'll post a color in my feed and a black and white in my stories and ask them to tell me which they like best. Brooke, that is fantastic. Or surveying your audience, and I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, for instance, like the productivity challenge that I did last month. I went on Instagram Live and I asked you guys, hey, put your biggest productivity challenge in the put your biggest productivity question in the comments. Then I went on Instagram stories and I said, hey, you might have missed my live, but if you have a really big productivity question, DM me. I'd love to hear it. So, and then I totally just crafted my whole entire challenge around those questions that you guys asked me. So very similar to what Brooke is doing, which is fantastic that she's doing that, is just surveying her audience. Secret 3 is break it up. So break up your videos with boomerangs or pictures, or break up all your pictures with videos or boomerang. Make sure to kind of have different things, because think about it from the user perspective. Whenever they're going through your Instagram stories and they just see video, they're like, okay, no. Right? So you want to be a little bit creative, and so maybe do boomerang, picture, video, boomerang, video, picture, obviously you do not have to have like a formula for this. I just don't want you doing like, let's say 7 videos back to back. Don't do that. Do not do that. Oh my gosh, I cannot even stress enough. Do not do that. Make sure to break up all of your videos with boomerangs or pictures. That way it's more user-friendly for your Instagram stories, and it keeps them more engaged. That's the word I'm looking for. Keeps them more engaged on your Instagram stories. So I've definitely found that that'll help people not swipe past, because, you can obviously just do like the whole swipe thing and swipe your whole Instagram story to where they don't even see the rest of it, or they tap. And so you want them to tap and hold. That's your main goal. Tap, hold. You don't want them to swipe. And so by being a little bit creative, you'll get them to tap instead of swipe. So that's our main goal there. Okay, and secret 4 is talking business. You're not a robot like me that only does business work, right? I swear sometimes I feel like a robot because I'm obsessed with my business. I love business stuff so much. It's just there's such a big place in my heart for my business because it's my baby, and I know you feel the same. I know your business is your baby too. And, that's what makes it so tough. But you do have a life, so you kind of need to show them your life, but also mainly business. Okay, if I was to give you a percentage of how you might need to split it up, 30% personal, 70% business, but whatever you post that's personal, make sure that it kind of relates to them or it's interesting in some way. So, hope that makes sense. That's what I would suggest for secret 4. Secret 5 is video on video on video is not good, so please stop right now. That's the secret right there, because I see this so much, especially in my industry, is they're getting on video and they're going, and there's tons of space in between each word. Girl, you need to push the X button and you need to redo the video to where it's super efficient, because you don't want to ask your audience to, and for me, I talk really fast. But I still mess up, and I redo so many videos to where I get my video to where it's as short as possible because I respect your time. I don't want you to go through my Instagram stories and go, oh my gosh, that took her 3 videos to say that. No, if it could be one video, I'm going to make it one freaking video, okay? Because I want you to tap, I don't want you to swipe. And so that's all a part of that kind of strategy, is to less videos. And I know people are saying, do more videos, do more videos. I say do video efficiently and effectively. That's my advice to you. So by not doing more videos and doing videos efficiently and effectively on your Instagram stories, you're gonna get a higher engagement. And honestly, I appreciate people that can get their message out in a fast way, in an efficient way, that's not going to waste my time having to look through 8 different videos to just finally get what you're trying to say. Don't do that. Now, I will say, one time on my Instagram stories, I did go on a rant because someone in a Facebook group said something about like bashing 9-to-5 jobs and people that have a 9-to-5 job and also run a business and call it like a side business. And that got under my skin. So I went on Instagram stories and I kind of ranted a little bit. And I was like, okay, I have a team of 4 staff, like 3, or I guess at that time I had 3 staff members. And I was like, this is not a side business. Like, I make more in my business than I do on my salary, but I chose to work 9-to-5 because I didn't want to work from home. I love being around people. Anyways, I did go on a rant. So I broke my philosophy there, but usually I do not do that. I do not post on Instagram stories more than 2 videos. So if I'm talking about one specific thing, I do not post more than 2 videos on that one thing. And I suggest you try that as well, even if you have to press the X button and redo your video multiple times. I say do it, because what is it going to take you, like 10 extra seconds? Just do it. That's my advice. I hope that didn't sound too harsh, because I'm sure your videos are fantastic, but I just want to say that you should be careful with that, because you want people to keep watching your videos, obviously. Brooke said, I've never done a video on Instagram stories and it's scary. Any suggestions on how to break into it? Brooke, fantastic, fantastic question. So I'm just going to say do it. Brooke, just go do it, girl. You're going to be fantastic. And, this could be something as easy as maybe for 1 week, for like 7 days, Brooke, you're going to get on Instagram stories and you are going to post, or you're not going to post a video, you're going to record yourself doing one video. And then with that one video, you're going to press X and you're not going to post it. And then the next day, you're going to do one video. Just record yourself and then press X. You're not going to post it. And then the third day, you can do a short video, maybe like 3 seconds long, that said, hey, good morning. Maybe ask a question real quick and then put the background color text like we talked about in Secret 1 on that video and then post it, okay? And then day 4, do the same thing with a different question maybe, and it's okay if no one responds, Brooke. Like, it's totally okay if no one responds. At least you posted it. And then day 4, like, you're going to keep working yourself up. And maybe on day 4, you could do a video of you showing your office. If you're a graphic designer, web designer, or whatever you are. You said creative, so I'm not sure what that entails. So, but I'm assuming you have an office, so you could show, hey, here's the behind the scenes of my office. And then maybe day 5, just kind of keep working into it. And then you can do full-on videos. I'm telling you, within a week, if you just try that out, kind of dip your toes in the water, then keep going, it will make your life so much easier. You're going to be less overwhelmed. And then I would say 2 weeks down the road, like, you're going to be killing it. Photographer and graphic artist. Perfect. So, Brooke, what you could be doing is, if you're on a photo shoot, do like a boomerang of your photo shoot. Or, Brooke, you could have like you and your camera and say, this is the kind of camera I have. Some of you guys have asked what kind of equipment I have. This is the equipment. This is why I chose that. Or just doing some of that kind of stuff, just to kind of get you used to being in front of the camera, because it's so important as a business owner to be the face of your business, to get you in front of the camera, all that awesome stuff. So yes, secret 6, create habit-forming stories. So this is huge on Instagram stories. You don't want to just post Instagram stories, okay? I know some of this you may find really overwhelming, but totally work up to all of this. I don't want to overwhelm you. But whenever you're posting Instagram stories, your main goal should be to create a habit. So the people that are watching hey Erica, so the people that are watching your Instagram stories, it should be a habit for them to watch their stories. So for instance, for me, I have people that literally get on every single day and watch my Instagram stories because it's a habit for them. And I have done specific things on my Instagram stories to make it a habit for them. There's a book that's called How to Create a Habit-Forming Product. And I suggest you go read that book like right now. It's fantastic because it could definitely help you and your brand, even if you don't sell physical products. I suggest you be like creating habit-forming stories to where people are addicted to watching your stories, okay? It's kind of like that addiction, a good addiction, not a bad addiction, that where they're going to Instagram, like, I wonder what she posted on her stories today, or they're thinking about you. For instance, oh my gosh, Katrina Porter Designs, she's an interior design company. She DM'd me this week and she said, I dreamed about you last night. You were in my dreams. I took you to one of my new locations and you were so encouraging. And I think, okay, as a business owner, like, this should be your goal. Like, get in their dreams, okay? I want you to show up so often in their feed. I want you to show up so often in their stories. I want you to engage with them. I want you to be your audience be a fan of you so much to where they're dreaming of you. So get in your customers' dreams, okay? That is my main goal for you. So to do that, we need to create habit-forming stories. And to create a habit-forming story, I'll tell you how to do that. Get people to DM you. Send a message. Get people to take action when they are watching your stories. So you don't want casual tappers. We don't want that. We do want them to tap. We don't want them to swipe. But now that we've got them to tap, now our main goal after they're tapping is to engage. So we want them to swipe up, send us a message. Or if you have enough followers, we want them to swipe up. Hey, Elise, how are you doing? We want them to swipe up and then take that action on that landing page or opt-in page or whatever we're having them do, right? But specifically for most of you guys, we want them to be sending you messages. So getting them in your DM is so important. I can't even describe how important it is. And by doing that, that means asking questions. That means having an arrow point to send us a message at the below of your Instagram stories. That means getting them to interact with you. Getting them to interact with you creates this connection with your brand that makes it personal. And that is where the magic happens. So create habit-forming stories, okay? Secret 7 is have a call to action. Always have a purpose to your Instagram stories, but if you don't know what a call to action is, I need to start there. So a call to action is something, for instance, like if you're I'm going to go back to Liz from Lene May. She does awesome strategy calls, right? So if you were if you were watching Liz White, then you would, or Liz's stories, then you would be on Instagram, you'd be scrolling through her stories, and then she could have something at the bottom that would say, book strategy call now, with a little arrow thing or whatever. And so that would be her call to action. She's calling every single person that's watching her stories to an action, which is book a strategy call now. So that is something that I recommend for any specific, not salesy Instagram stories, but any kind of specific Instagram story that you're doing that you really need them to take one specific action. Now, I wouldn't say every single story needs to have a call to action. Like, you don't want them going through Instagram stories with book now, schedule now, learn more. You don't want that because that just looks like, what are you doing? So don't do that. But maybe one a day, maybe one call to action oriented Instagram story a day would be good. And then, but make sure to kind of get in the mindset of, okay, hey Amanda, make sure to get in the mindset of, okay, what's my call to action for this post? And maybe you don't even have a button at the, below your Instagram story. It could just be okay, what's my objective? What's my goal with the story that I'm posting? That way you're getting in the mindset of having more objective oriented stories. Okay. Because, and I'm just going to say real quick before I go to the next secret, the reason why I'm saying this is because you're going to be getting traffic to your Instagram stories, right? You want them to go somewhere else. Like, for instance, on my Instagram, if I just had all my followers on Instagram and I never led them to my free Facebook group or to go listen to my podcast or to go get on my email list so they could keep updated with me, then they're just watching my Instagram stories. What if they weren't on Instagram that week, but I had a really cool new free thing for them that I could just email them or that I posted in my Facebook group? They would never know. And so you want to lead your Instagram story peeps to other places. Cool. Okay, now I'll move on to the next secret. So tease them with your post. And I know you've probably seen this before. You've probably seen it if you watch my Instagram stories, but tease them. So let's say you posted something new. For example, Brooke said she was a photographer or a graphic artist. Brooke, she just got this new design or something along those lines. She posted on her Instagram account, and then she's going to take a screenshot of her Instagram page, and then she's going to put an emoji over that post. And go look at my Instagram stories if you have trouble like figuring out what this looks like, and then you'll see it on my Instagram stories. But go like put a emoji or like a heart or whatever over that new post, and then Brooke could put, just got done working on this masterpiece, or something along those lines, and then she could put an arrow that points to her new post on Instagram. So that's something that you can do there. And that really does increase engagement, and it makes people go from your stories to your post, because I see Instagram stories and Instagram posts as completely two separate things. People that are watching my Instagram stories aren't necessarily commenting on my post or liking my post. So what I've decided to do is get my Instagram story peeps, since I built up that audience, to go to my post and to comment. Now, right now, it's a pretty low conversion rate from my Instagram stories to my post, but that's okay. I'm going to try to create that habit of them going over to my post as well, which also increases my ranking in the algorithm. So all of this kind of plays hand in hand together, and I hope it's making sense. Secret 9 is consistency. Don't miss a day. Seriously, and I know you hate hearing that because life is freaking busy. It's insane. I totally get it, but there's no excuse. I'm gonna be a little bit harsh right now because there really is no excuse. I know everyone is so busy. I'm busy. I have a full-time job and I'm running this business, and now I have 4 staff members that I'm managing. Like, I'm busy, but you bet your bottom dollar I am on Instagram stories every single day. I respond to every single DM that is sent to me because it's my priority. I make it a priority because you guys are my priority, right? And so even though I'm busy, I find pockets in the day. I find efficient ways to do things so that I save time so that I can get on Instagram stories. You can make time. You can, and it only takes 5 seconds. You could just post real quick. It doesn't have to be anything huge. But I do suggest putting time and effort into this and posting throughout the day, being consistent, not missing a day, because it really does make a big impact whenever you do miss like a couple days in a row or something along those lines. It does make an impact. And so I just don't want you to not be consistent. I want you to create, like I'm talking about, creating habit-forming habit-forming stories for your audience. I want you to have a habit form to be on Instagram stories. So it goes both ways. You need to make it a habit, and then you need to make your audience have it be a habit to watch your Instagram stories. So 2 different habits that need to be formed there. So secret 10 is posting throughout the day. So I'm talking about being consistent on Instagram stories. Now I'm going to be talking about like spreading out whenever you're posting. So what's happening is people may be posting 3 times in the morning and then that's it. They don't post any time else like throughout the day, okay? So let's think from a user perspective. Let's say, I'm watching your Instagram stories and you posted 3 times that morning, but you don't post at all any for the rest of the day. So then I'm looking at your Instagram stories that morning, but then you don't pop up on my Instagram story thing again. And so what you could have done is you could have posted once in the morning, once at noon, once at night, and then what would have happened is I would have seen your story that morning. If I would have come back on Instagram, your face would have popped up again. I would have watched that next story. Then, whenever I went before bed on Instagram, your face pops up again. So you see that if you're posting throughout the day regularly, your face is going to keep popping up in their Instagram story feed, which is so important for your face to consistently be there. Like, that is your goal. You want your face to be there all the time. You want to haunt them with your face. That may sound a little weird, but Erica said, the people whose stories I watch the most always pop up first. Yes, and that's true, and that's all a part of the Instagram story algorithm, which I love. I love the Instagram story algorithm because it definitely helps me because I don't even care about some other people's stories, and so they don't pop up first like the people that I do watch consistently. But if you're not posting throughout the day, your stories are not your face, your stories, your account is not going to be seen near as often. And so even if you only have like 4 Instagram story posts that day, I would save them all to your phone and then make an effort to post them throughout the day periodically instead of just batch put them on there all at once. So that's something that I have found to be definitely helpful. So secret 11, wow guys, we are powering through this. We are to secret 11, is custom story graphics. Now, I love custom story graphics, and I love seeing it, especially from designers because they always have really cool custom story graphics. But this is just an idea, definitely not necessary, but you can easily do this in Canva. And I use Illustrator to make these graphics, but it's always a super fun addition to have. And you can also repost these Instagram story graphics. So it also makes it look pretty professional. Like, I'm kind of obsessed with them because it makes me feel cool to see my custom Instagram story graphics and on Instagram stories with my branded colors. It just makes you feel more professional, more businessy, but also it shows more of the business side. Like, yeah, you want to be showed behind the scenes. You want to not be super pristine and all that stuff, but at the same time it does show that you're a business whenever you do have those custom story graphics. And you can also put like call to action buttons on those custom story graphics, and again, like I said, you could use them over and over and over again. Harper and Gray said yes, love Canva for this. Yes, and Maddie loves Canva. I'm not a big fan of Canva, but I think it's because I use Adobe Illustrator and I've used it for years, and so that I'm just a big Illustrator fan. But I know so many people love Canva, and it's free, so you can't beat free, right? Anyway, so I love custom story graphics because for example, I was talking about an example. So an example of a custom story graphic that I've done is I created a Market Beautifully podcast. It was just branded, like a custom graphic of my cover art, but then it was, I think it was like a phone mock-up, and it was really pretty. And it was with my branded colors. Anyways, it was really cool, right? And so then I just had a Market Beautifully podcast at the top right-hand corner. And so then what I can do is every week I just post it to my Instagram stories to remind people, oh yeah, Market Beautifully podcast. That way it's being seen in their feed and it's like ingrained in their brain. Market Beautifully podcast, right? What dimensions for story graphics? That is a fantastic question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the show notes for the podcast, but I'm going to finish my secrets and then I'm going to go back to Proving Strike. I'm sorry. I saw Touch a Teal at the end that said, thank you for all this great info. You're so welcome. Proving Strike, I will find that out. So secret 12, branded colors on your Instagram story. So a lot of people don't know that you can do this. And you've probably seen like that middle icon that's like an A. And if you press it, then you get a background color behind your text, which makes your text pop out more on your Instagram stories. And so you only get very limited color options at the bottom, right? You've probably seen that. And so what I do is I hold down, for instance, I hold down the yellow icon, the color icon, and so I hold it down, and then when you hold down that color, what pops up? Oh, so glad you asked. The whole color wheel pops up. It's amazing. And so then you can find your brand color, and then that will be the background of your text. I definitely suggest doing that just so that your brand shows through your Instagram stories even more. And I did this, and I used to be more of a maroon color, and so I always found the maroon color so that I always had a color background of maroon behind my white text. So yes, make sure to utilize that feature in Instagram stories. Secret number 13, and this is the last secret that I have for you, is go out and engage. This is so important. And you know, I've gotten so many comments on, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised you replied to me. And it shocks me because I'm thinking that's the whole point of Instagram, right? Is to connect with other people. And I suggest everyone to DM me. I suggest everyone to get inside my Instagram inbox because I love to hear from all of you guys. And so for you as a business owner, I want you to be in your Instagram inbox. Herb & Gray says, 1080 by 1920 is the dimensions I use. Thank you so much, Maddie. I'm still Proving Strike. I'm still going to look up my dimensions. I'm pretty sure they're very similar to Maddie's, just to make sure I'm using the same dimensions as well. Thanks, Maddie, for sharing that. So by replying to your people, you're connecting with them on an even deeper level, which is so important. And I know you know this, and I know you would not ever leave someone in your inbox to just like not reply to them. I know you wouldn't do that, but I want to mention that because I know a lot of Instagram users that do. And so if someone is in your Instagram inbox, reply to them. If you specifically like ask a question in your Instagram stories and then they reply to you, always reply back. Always, always, always reply back. And I cannot stress this enough. And then something else that I want to mention too with this secret is that what I do is I choose 2 people a day. Sometimes it's 2 people a week, to be honest, because let's face it, some weeks are really busy. But 2 people a day or a week, and I look at who's watching my Instagram stories, and I'll go put like a meaningful comment on their post. And so this even just furthers that connection with your audience. I know they've been watching my Instagram stories for a while, and so they'll go over to their post and I'll look at what they're doing, and I'll leave some meaningful comment or something that connects us or something that's similar. For example, like some of my people that are watching my Instagram stories are Christians. And so I'll go to their profile, look at like a verse, their favorite verses in their description in Instagram, and I'll say, oh my goodness, it's so great to meet another Christian entrepreneur. Let's connect, all that awesome stuff. And so that's something that I do. But I also I have a lot of photographers that follow me. And so I'll go look at their latest photo shoot that they had, and I'll go comment, and I'll leave like my favorite thing about the photo. I have some amazingly incredibly talented photographers that just blow me away with their photography. And so I love going over there and looking at their pictures. I love being involved in y'all's businesses, in y'all's lives. And so that's something that I encourage you to do as a business owner as well, is to reach out to them and reach out to the people that are taking their time to be on your stories. Again, that's just going to make them become more addicted to your brand, more addicted to the story behind your business, and also just be more addicted to your stories in and of itself, and just encourage them to keep watching those stories. And I just feel like that's a really important aspect of just creating a community behind your business. So my suggestion to you is to take these secrets that I just talked to you about in bite-sized pieces. I know this can be really intimidating for some, but don't let it intimidate you. I really suggest just taking it in bite-sized pieces, dip your toes in the water, and then go full force once you really get the hang of it. But I find Instagram stories the absolute best place to connect with my audience. I just love getting to know my followers better. I cannot stress this enough, and I hope you feel the exact same way. I hope you have the same passion I do about your audience, because it makes putting in all the work and time behind Instagram stories so worth it. So whenever you do hear a new strategy like this for Instagram stories, you get so excited to try it, because it is like another way to add value to your audience. And if it does sound overwhelming, again, I just suggest starting slow, post once a day just to create a habit, and then work your way up. That is exactly what I did. Do not get overwhelmed. Don't get intimidated. You got this, okay? I just want to say that again. You got this. So don't let this overwhelm you. I believe you are going to use Instagram stories for very big things and use it as a tool to scale your business. I am so proud of each and every one of you for doing what you're doing. So keep marketing beautifully and doing what you do best.